program runs for 45 minutes.
Wow.
And guess what?
Wow.
We bring you hot stories of our trending situation within our country, Liberia. Imagine hearing stories from Hot Pepper newspaper, from the Daily Observer newspaper, from Front Page Africa. Are you a lover of Front Page Africa?
Oh yes, I'm a lover of
Front Page Africa, and the Women Voices, and a lot more. Not forgetting international news, BBC,
Wow.
CNN, ABC News. We bring you headlines from those standpoints.
Wow, that is very, very, very amazing.
So we say, join us every day on the daily edition of Inside the Print Media at 10 a.m. with the headlines of top stories in our country and the world at large on Focal Online TV.
Focal TV. Bringing you innovation to broadcasting, news, views, comments, and analysis of issues happening in Liberia and the rest of the world. Focal TV. With check and balance, we bring it as it unfolds. Focal TV. Bringing you face to face with newsmakers in town. Focal TV. The best online platform in broadcasting. Focal TV, located at Topo Village, Somalia Drive, Liberia. Be the part and experience the best in online broadcasting. Keep Focal.
Okay, good morning, good evening, depending on the geographical location. Welcome to the program Inside the Print Media. This is your informative news program where we highlight all of the trending stories relating to the newspaper in Liberia. So my name is K. Lyndon Toba. This morning is actually a very wet day in Liberians and other environments. Is actually a very day. Is a lot of the Liberians have been greatly affected as the result of the prolonged rainfall. But it's actually good to be here to keep doing the job that we do regularly in the wake of informing the Liberian people to get in and to get glued about what is taking place in our country, Liberia. So this morning we have varieties of newspapers in our possession. We have the Front Page Africa newspaper, we have the Daily Observer newspaper, we have the New Dawn newspaper, we have the Hot Pepper newspaper. We will definitely bring you international development relating to the programs. So let's go over to the Front Page Africa newspaper and see what is the Front Page Africa newspaper reporting this morning. Former President Weah criticizes UP government and appeal for support in UN Security Council bid. Former President Weah criticizes UP government and appealed for support in UN Security Council bid. So, former President George Weah is criticizing, is blasting. He is blasting the UP government. So we will bring you that particular headlines, and let's go over to another development within the Front Page Africa newspaper again. They say Front Page Africa subpoena in Magibi County Health Team corruption case. Front Page Africa subpoena in Magibi County Health Team corruption case. So that's another story within the Front Page Africa newspaper. Let's give you the content of the first stories the first headlines we read to you earlier this morning. Former President Weah criticizes UP government amid appealed for support in UN Security Council. Then on the back of the paper, President Weah criticizes UP government and MLPU for supporting UN Security Council based site attack on party headquarters, and spokesperson denigrating remarks as undermining effort, request in jeopardy. That is what you can see, and you have from President Boakai photo attached to this, and you see the headquarters of the former ruling party. Picture is also there. You see a woman who was being dehumanized. Is also a photograph is also there, and you see members of the Liberia National Police. Photo is also on the paper. So let's bring you the content of this particular headlines. Liberia's campaign to rally current and former officials of government to support its bid for a non-permanent seat on the United Nations Security Council faces a potential setback following a sharp response from former President George Weah to the government. Ex-President Weah's office issued a statement in reaction to Deputy Minister Daniel Sino disparaging remarks, which suggested that Joseph Boakai-led government does not need the former president's help, nor is his voice significant to the international stage of Liberia's bid for a United Nations Security Council seat. Efforts to promote reconciliation and unity after Liberia highly polarized 2023 general election seemed promising when the government sought former President Weah's support for the bid. Foreign Minister Sarah Beslow-Yanti acknowledged Weah's role in initiating the United Nations Security Council campaign, requesting his assistance in amplifying Liberia's efforts as the official bid launch approaches on September 27. In her letter, Foreign Minister Nyanti wrote, "Your Excellency, it was honoring your esteemed leadership that the process for Liberia bid for the non-permanent seat on the United Nations Security Council began. The foundation you lay is essential for our efforts, and we believe that your voice will amplify our campaign and ensure the successful completion of what you have begun. Your role in maintaining peace in Liberia during the recent election has been widely recognized, cementing your status as a global peace ambassador." However, following the letter, public debate ensued among supporters of Weah regarding his potential acceptance or rejections of the government request. The situation intensified when Deputy Minister Daniel Otis Sino during the press briefing stated that the government does not require Weah's support, asserting that his international reputation lacks influence. The government of Liberia wishes to clarify that it does not hold any special interest in former President Weah, nor does his opinion carry any extra weight in the bid for the United Nations Security Council seat, Sanders stated, adding, "The status of former President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf is far greater than the former President Weah." In response, the office of former President Weah expressed appreciation for Foreign Minister's Nyanti recognitions of a contribution to peace and security in Liberia and his role in laying the groundwork for the United Nations Security Council bid. Despite his support for the campaign, Weah emphasized the risk posed by the current administration action which he believed undermine Liberia's democratic stability. Following our receipt of the letter from Minister Beslow-Yanti, the government spokesperson launched a juvenile soporific rank in a vain attempt to denigrate former President Weah. Such disingenuous behavior points to an apparent synergies in the government that poses a risk to the bid, Weah office stated. Weah criticized the use of state resources to target political opponents, highlighting a recent incident where Liberia National Police raided the Coalitions of Democratic Change headquarters without a warrant, firing live ammunition and injuring party's member. It describes this attack as a serious violations of political freedom and the rule of law. He further warned the administration's actions are fueling divisions rather than fostering reconciliations and unity, values, and the central of the United Nations and its Security Council. He argued that such behavior could erode confidence in Liberia bid for a seat on the United Nations Security Council. A statement released by Eugene Nangwe, ex-president WEA chief of staff. Instead of fostering reconciliations and unifications, the administration is fueling division and attribution. These actions are at odds, and the values of the United Nations stand for respect for human rights and the rule of law and the peaceful resolutions of conflicts. In spite of the commitment made by the general and continental body, ECOWAS and the AU, these are the potential threats that could erode confidence and unravel debate. Instead of fostering reconciliations and unification, the administration is fueling divisions and retribution. These actions are at odds with the values of the United Nations stand for respect for human rights and the rule of law and the peaceful resolutions of conflict. In spite of the commitments made by the regional and continental body, ECOWAS and AU, these are the potential threats we face, which could erode the confidence of the unraveled debate. While reaffirming his support to Liberia United Nations security aspiration, we have stressed the need for the country to embody the principles it seeks to promote globally, including good governance, political freedom, and the rule of law. To credibly pursue this seat, place Liberia on the international pedestal, the government must restore its commitment to good governance and the protections of political freedom and the rule of law. We are stepping continuing. The former president urged the government to address internal challenges, consolidate diplomatic gains, and engage with bilateral and multilateral partners to represent Liberia as a viable candidate for the United Nations General Security Council seat. The functionary and superficial publicity stunt, such as photo op of the UN headquarters on September 27, are not enough. Genuine actions of diplomacy and good governance are required, he said. So that is what Front Page Africa is reporting. Another headlines within the Front Page Africa newspaper this morning. So let's begin to acknowledge some of our followers who are following this morning. Following the show, Sekou Bamba, he says he's following the shows. So Front Page Africa subpoena in Margibi County Health Team corruption case. Front Page Africa subpoena in Margibi County Health Team corruption case. The non-judicial circuit court in Bong County has issued a subpoena from the management of Front Page Africa to testify in the ongoing corruption trial involving Margibi County Health Team. The trial sparked by a leaked audio published by the newspaper has led to significant legal developments. The Liberia Anti-Corruption Commission is invoking Section 1.5 and 5.2 of its 2022 Act indicted 12 individuals in February 2024 through the grand jury of Margibi County. The charges are rooted in financial mismanagement and kickbacks involving $188,978 from a USAID-funded healthcare project intended to enhance services in Margibi County. The indictment followed a full-scale LCZ investigation triggered by Front Page Africa exposed in 2023, which revealed a corruption scheme within the Margibi County Health Team. The leaked audio obtained by the newspaper featured the then County Health Officer, Dr. Augustine Nyanku Fanning, and senior staff discussing how to divert public funds for personal gains in collaborations with vendors. At the same time, the Margibi County Health Team was receiving an annual of $801,693 from the user through the Ministry of Health fixed amount reimbursement agreement and FARAD program aimed at strengthening the local healthcare system. The leaked audio surfaced implicating several officials and raising concerns over the mismanagement of the donor funds. 12 individuals, including former and current officials of the health team and local businessmen, were named in the indictment. Among them are Augustine N. Nyafwan, former County Health Officer Leroy Daswa, Health Services Administrator Danu Horace, and other key figures in the Margibi County health system. The defendants face charges of economic sabotage, theft of property, tampering with public record, criminal facilitations, and criminal conspiracy. These charges stem from the alleged embezzlement of nearly 189,000 men to improve health care for the people of Margibi County. The trial originally set in Margibi County was transferred to the 9th Judicial Circuit Court in Bond County at the request of the prosecution. In the latest development, the court has ordered Frontpage Africa to testify about its February 2, 2023 report titled Massive Corruptions in Margibi County. Leak audio exposes graft within the health system. The court, through a writ of subpoena, deduces the TACOM and R dated September 18 summon. The newspaper management and its Margibi County correspondent Yawa A. Gave to appear and present evidence on Monday, September 23, 2024 at 10 a.m. The subpoena states, you are hereby commanded to subpoena the management of Frontpage Africa, especially its correspondent writer Yawa A. Gave to appear before the 9th Judicial Circuit Court in Margibi to produce and testify regarding the February 2, 2023 story. So that's another headlines within the Frontpage Africa newspaper this morning. Let's go over to another newspaper, that is the Daily Observer newspaper. Gonglo seek unity in Liberia, push for United Nations Security Council seat. That is what the Daily Observer newspaper is reporting. Gonglo seek unity in Liberia, push for United Nations Security Council seat. Prominent Liberian legal and human rights advocate Councillor Tiawan Gonglo says has penned an open letter to President George Weah calling for solidarity in support for Liberia bid for a non-permanent seat on the United Nations Security Council. In the letter, Gonglo highlights the importance of prioritizing national interests over personal grievances and political discord, emphasizing the opportunity for Liberia to influence global security and peace. In the spirit of national security and collective sustainability, Gonglo calls for a united front in realizing Liberia's potential as a respected voice in global security and diplomacy. I extend my respectful greeting to you as a fellow patriot of Liberia and as someone who, like you, has dedicated his life to the service of our beloved country. Although in different form, I write to you today on a matter of great national significance. Liberia quest to secure a non-permanent seat at the United Nations Council as a representative of Africa, he said. The former president recently received a letter from Foreign Affairs Minister Sarah Besley Yantin praising his administration role in laying the foundation of Liberia United Nations security base, acknowledging the country's historical commitment to peace. However, the government, through the Ministry of Information, downplayed Weah's importance to the process, indicating that the government is no longer interested in his support or endorsement. However, Gonglo in his letter acknowledged the strain that exists between former President Weah and the Unity Party and appeals to his sense of patriotism, urging him to rise above individual differences and contribute to Liberia's advancement on the international stage. I know that the current administration, under the leadership of President Boakai, may not have treated you with respect and dignity befitting a former president. It is not lost on me. Despite the status and the position you once held as the leader of our great nation, you have faced public humiliations from being denied access to the presidential lounge to the unfortunate disappearing cries from whom we all greet you upon your arrival by the use of the armed forces of Liberia. He implores President Weah to put aside personal grievances and focus on the bigger picture of enhancing Liberia's reputation and impact on the global stage. The government action against you have been painful and no doubt intended to diminish your standing as a former president. However, I am appealing to you today not as a politician, but as a fellow Liberian who cares deeply about our country's future. The quest for Liberia to occupy high-level profile seat in the United Nations Security Council transcends beyond politics. It is an opportunity for our nation to have a voice in shaping global security, peace, and justice, he said. It will raise our country's profile as our nation's experience in 1969 when Andy Brooks Randall was elected president of the United Nations General Assembly. I urge you to put Liberia first about the personal grievances and challenges you have encountered since leaving office. As former president, you are uniquely positioned to influence Liberia's role in the world stage, and I believe history will judge you rightly if you rise above the political discord and contribute to this national cause. By emphasizing the common goal of national progress and unity among former presidents, Gonglo underscores the broader impact of supporting Liberia's global aspirations, drawing on historical precedent and emphasizing the significance of statesmanship. Gonglo encourages WIA to consider the long-term benefit of securing a seat of the Security Council for Liberia diplomatic influence advocacies for peace. He said a seat on the Security Council will not only enhance Liberia's global standing, but it will also open doors for our country to advocate for peace, security, and justice across Africa and the world. The support in this matter will send a clear message that Liberia's former president, regardless of their political affiliations, are united in their commitment to the nation's process. And the legal luminary said in the letter, we are at a crossroad. You have an opportunity to shape how the future generation will remember your legacy. Will it be defined by your discord or by the magnanimity you show now in supporting Liberia's aspirations on the global stage? Gonglo appealed to former President Weah sense of patriotism and urged him to set aside any personal grievances in the current administration. Liberia's access on the global stage is bigger than any of the individual, he said. History will embrace you as a leader who despite the personal slight and challenges you face, after graciously accepting defeat, choose to put the country first. It is this kind of selflessness and commitment to the greater good has historically defined great statesmen. So that is it from the Daily Observer newspaper. At this point in time, this is how we would love to take a short break. When we come back, we fill you in with development from the Hot Pepper newspaper and that.
Hello, dear. My name is K. Lyndon Tok.